I offer this podcast freely. Your support really makes a difference. To make a donation, visit reneemckenna.com. Welcome to Spiritual Psychology. My name's Renee LaValle McKenna, and I bring my 30-plus years as a recovering addict and ex-crazy person turned therapist and shamanic healer to bring you snackable teachings on spirituality, psychology, and all things personal growth. And today I want to talk about getting what we really want, and particularly the idea that we already get what we really want, or at least we get what we believe is possible for us. And many of us struggle with the gap between what we think we want and what we believe we deserve. And for many of my clients, and I know for myself, there were many things I wanted in my life. A loving relationship, a satisfying job or career, creativity, good friends, a strong and healthy body. And try as I might, I just couldn't seem to get or sustain those things for any length of time. I've gained and lost hundreds of pounds, had sex with a lot of different kinds of men, worked many jobs that were unsatisfying and didn't pay me very well. And for a long time, I just kind of drowned or distracted myself with drugs and alcohol and other addictive behaviors. I had all this potential and nowhere to grow. It was like a seed laying on a shelf that needed to be planted in the earth and watered, but I didn't know how to plant myself. And like many people, I felt lost and discouraged. I felt like the successful people had some kind of instruction manual that I didn't get. Maybe I didn't show up that day when they were handing those out. And I hit a wall in my 20s with being a self-described loser. And I was introduced to spiritual practice, to prayer and meditation, and the idea that rather than trying to change the outside of my life so that I would feel better on the inside, that I could change the inside of myself and the outside of my life would transform accordingly. And that it wasn't about finding the right guy, losing the right amount of weight, or getting the perfect job to make me happy. That if I changed inside and became happy, grateful, loving, and generous now, right where I am, that the universe would respond to me differently. That my contentment, joy, and fulfillment doesn't exist in the future. There is no future. It's only right now. And that I can cultivate contentment, joy, and fulfillment today, right where I am. I was introduced to gratitude practice, to look at the glass half full in my life. And much of my internal dialogue, as many of us, was about thinking about what I didn't have, arguing or getting revenge on people who weren't even present in the room with me, and a pretty constant inner tirade of hopelessness and fear and all the things that were wrong with me. And it's a really powerful and difficult shift for many of us to start to focus on what's good, to pray for the happiness and healing of people that I'm upset with or who have harmed me, and to bless and be grateful for all the things I do have in my life. The simple things. It's a beautiful day out. I have eyes that work. I have both my legs. I have a place to live indoors, food to eat. Not everyone has those things. Can I affirm what's good about me rather than constantly listing what needs to be improved? I've helped many people do personal inventory processes through the 12 steps and other formats. And most of us have no trouble writing all the things we don't like about ourselves or all the things we feel ashamed about, our fears. But it's quite a challenge to list 100 things about yourself that's really good. And I challenge you to do that. Get out a pen and paper and write 100 things that are valuable, interesting, or that you like about yourself. Do you have good fingernails? A nice smile? Are you good at addition? Do you like little dogs? I just moved to New York, and I got to tell you, everybody's got a little dog here. And I swear 75% of them are ugly. Oh my God, did you look at that dog before you brought it home? Why would you have an ugly dog? I don't understand. Anyway, the 25% that are cute are like cute. Oh my God. But there's like an ugly dog club happening here in the Upper West Side. And so I'm having fun with ugly dogs. So that was a non sequitur. Anyway, are you kind? Are you funny? Are you smart, creative, adventurous? Are you sensitive, empathic, Start a running list of what's good about yourself. And that is how we take the seed of our own potential off the shelf and plant it into the fertile ground. And we can water it with prayer and affirmation and self-love. And we can fertilize it with supportive friendship and community and spending time doing things we actually enjoy that nourish and fulfill us. And I challenge you to read that list and add to it every day all the things that are good about me. And that seed will start to grow into a garden of your own soul. And if you want to really add miracle grow to it, start to list and bless the things that are good about other people in their lives. And those seeds will start to grow in them as well. And we can be as gardeners cultivating our own authentic selves, the best of who we are, because what we focus on is often what manifests in our life. Not all the time, because it's an interactive universe and there's a whole lot of incredible complexity happening here. But my inner experience is absolutely determined by what I'm focusing on. And it takes some effort and energy to elevate the inner conversation out of a place of fear and despair. Self-criticism can really go against the grain to focus on what's good. There is often a lot of inner resistance to that. I have a client who is a really amazing woman. She's a lifelong learner, has many degrees. She's studied all kinds of really deep esoteric traditions and has spent her life caring for others. And she's strong and beautiful and powerful and very intelligent. And when she came to me, she was really struggling with drugs and alcohol and food and this deep inner sense that she would just never be enough. And she was raised Christian with this really warped perspective on humility, that humility meant that she needed to play small, that owning what was good about herself was a form of pride or conceit. And we talked about that Christian idea of hiding your light under a bushel. And she went to the summer camps where they sang, "This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine." And I think that's a tremendous challenge for all of us to actually let our light shine in the world. That the brightness of it scares us. And we're afraid it might scare other people or push them away. And perhaps it will if we let our light shine too brightly. There's people that'll move away from us or put on sunglasses. But let those people move away because there are others who will benefit from that light. And those seeds need the light to be able to grow. As Marianne Williamson says in my favorite quote, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us." And that light is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And so if we want change, we need to be willing to do things differently. If we do what we always did, we're going to get what we always got. And the unknown is almost always outside of our comfort zone. But if our comfort zone is actually uncomfortable, then doing the uncomfortable thing, moving into the unknown, is the direction we need to go. Because there's productive discomfort and there's unproductive discomfort. We live in a culture that is very discomfort averse. If anything causes us any kind of pain of any sort, we better take a pill or drink something and make it go away. But learning to tolerate discomfort is probably one of the most important things that has happened in my adult life. Now, we need to have some wisdom about it because there's discomfort that's actually about causing harm, and there's discomfort that's about us growing. It's like the analogy of lifting weights. I won't get stronger if I don't push myself right to the edge of what I'm capable of. That's where my muscles break down and I get stronger, and it makes me sore. But when we get used to that process, where we're challenging ourselves to grow, pushing against that discomfort zone, doing things that scare us, it really is a formula for growth and success. And one of the most important principles that I have learned is the necessity of sustaining that effort over time. Most of us want instant gratification. You know how many times I signed up for a gym membership in January and I stopped going in mid-March? How many diets I went on. I don't believe in diets. I believe in having a healthy diet, a way that I eat, when I decided to incorporate exercise into my life in a sustainable way, because I feel good when I exercise. I feel good about myself. It's good for my body rather than just trying to get to some goal of being a size 8 and then quitting. If I want a loving, committed relationship, then I need to be loving and committed. Learn how to become a good partner myself rather than looking for some fantasy person who's going to complete me and jumping ship at the first sign of difficulty, or sabotaging the relationship because of my own deeper intimacy issues and fear of being vulnerable. And the work and career thing has been particular for me, having worked for years in jobs I hated and having ultimately come to find my life work that I completely love and would do for free, because helping people grow in the ways that I have grown is a central joy in my life. And so the process of coming to fulfillment to me has been a combination of prayer, clarifying my intentions, and sustained positive action. And the most powerful prayer for me is to surrender and align myself with the larger flow of life, with God's will, with the higher wisdom of source that I may not be connected with. Show me your will for me and grant me the power to carry it out. If you don't know what you want, then surrender to divine purpose, and you will be shown your highest good. Particularly asking, where can I be most useful? Where can I be of service? I want to offer this list of things that's good about me as light and water into the garden of the world. Where can I be most useful, most helpful? To shift my attitude from what can I get to what can I bring? And to just hold that as an open question. I cleaned houses for 12 years, and part of my practice was actually to be grateful for that work and to feel fulfilled in humble service. And I did. I loved cleaning houses. I miss it still sometimes. It was excellent exercise. I got to work in beautiful environments. People paid me pretty well in cash, and I got to make my own schedule. It was a great job. But I knew I wasn't using all of my potential. And so for years, I prayed, show me my highest good and how I can best be of service in the world. Show me your will for me and grant me the power to carry it out. And then my job was to keep my eyes open, to pay attention to the book that fell off the shelf, to the radio show I was listening to the little hints that the universe was giving me through conversation, my own inspiration, and a long series of events that I can see now as a winding path that often very unexpectedly brought me to where I am today. Ultimately, I moved to San Francisco from Boston to go to graduate school, and I was still cleaning houses. And the first month I was there, was looking for house cleaning clients, letting people know. And my mother-in-law said, a friend of mine needs her house cleaned. And it turns out she's a therapist. And I said, I think I'm going to go to graduate school for Psi-Kology. And she said, I do a really alternative kind of therapy that's a mix of shamanism and hypnotherapy and Buddhism. And we started to trade work. I would clean house and she would give me sessions. And she became my primary teacher for 14 years. And I didn't make that happen, but I watered that path with my prayer. The universe is listening. And there's a lot of manifestation techniques about writing down everything we want. And I'm actually practicing some of those right now. I might do a show on them. And that is its own powerful practice to clarify what we want. And then to look at all the inner blocks we have and fears that brings up. I was talking to a writer friend of mine who has also written a book about how many people say, I wish I could write a book. And there's a Garrison Keillor quote that he says, you absolutely could write a book. What you wish is that you already wrote the book, because most people don't want to put in the hard work to actually do it. And for me, that's where that particular part of that prayer, grant me the power to carry it out. There are lots of things I want, and I need that extra power to be able to produce the sustained positive actions it takes to get me there. I won't get strong if I only lift weights once a month. I got to do it probably 3 times a week. And that's how I wrote my book, 3 times a week. I got 45,000 downloads on the podcast this week. Thank you very much, you guys. Do the podcast every week for 4 years. And the first year was terrible. You won't even find those episodes anywhere. I can't find them. They've been deleted. Be willing to not be good. Just be willing to show up, to plant your seeds in the ground, and to water them and give them the light of what's good about you. And they will grow. So I challenge you to write that list. 100 things that's good about you. And I'd love it if you'd send it to me. info@reneemckenna.com. Consider it your homework. And work on it every day or 3 times a week. And ask the god or goddess of your own misunderstanding where you can use that goodness for the benefit of yourself and others. And great things will come to pass as you follow the path to your own highest good. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like a free download of the first chapters of my book, Allies and Demons, Working with Spirit for Power and Healing, there's a link in the show notes. I'm going to be doing some free webinars on becoming your own shaman on September 16th. And if you'd like to find out how a block of spiritual psychology work might benefit you in your life or learn about my mentorship program, you can DM me on Instagram @ReneeLaValleyMcKenna or shoot me an email. And we're talking about creating an open-door 5-day boot camp on care for the soul and manifestation. I'll keep you posted on that. Blessings on your path until we meet again. This is Renee LaValley McKenna for Spiritual Psychology.